He claimed that 95% of murders fall into a specific category. Male, minority, and between the ages of 15 and 25. That's what he said. That's a universal statement. There's no nuance here. He is saying that 95% of all murder falls into a specific category, and it's all black males between the ages of 15 and 25. This man cannot do math to save his life. So I helpfully did it for him and anyone else who wants to be a contrarian on this. By all means, please go and look at the links that I so generously provided. Now, as I wrote, to his credit, there's a 93% statistic on murder. Not 95, it's 93. But it specifically discusses the percentage of black Americans who are killed by other black Americans. Not that they're responsible for all the murder. And whether it was his ridiculously stupid, inartful way of saying it, that's what he's suggesting. It is that percentage of black Americans are killed by other black Americans. The way he says it, you have all these, 15 to 25 black Americans going out there and they're responsible for 95% of the murders. That's how he put it. That's wrong. The actual statistic, and I literally link the Bureau of Justice Statistics report, 93% of black murder victims are killed by other black individuals. It is not a number that nationally represents the murders as a whole. Now, as I was telling you, when I was writing about this simultaneously, so was John Lott. I included John's link in there because John literally speaks in graphs and charts. And he had a dizzying amount of statistical information for you that dovetails right with this, if you would like to go into the weeds on it. So what he said there, 95% of murders are not young black men. And that's what and 95% of murders, and the crime is not carried out by one specific demo for everybody. And when you compare murder victims for whom race was known, as I write about it, 50% are black, 40% are white, 2.6% were others. Race unknown for 175, and that was for that particular year when you went and looked at the FBI uniform crime reports. Here's the problem. Bloomberg has always fabricated numbers to support his agenda. Remember when because he created Everytown and Mom's Demand, and he directs that. Make no mistake. He had the URLs bought and done before, all of everything. And he had Everytown do that bus tour where they were out there lionizing violent criminals who were shot justifiably by police as victims of gun violence. I'm not making this up. He did that to inflate it, to make it look like people had something to be afraid of. He sent the Moms Demand people out there with bunk statistics. They were actually including drug deals that happened in the general vicinity of a school at like midnight. They were classifying that as school shootings. I wrote about that in my first book, Hands Off My Gun, replete with epic amounts of citations. Because I went back and I looked at all the records for every single one of them. There were like 3/4 of them that were manufactured and they lied about. Why do people think that he's suddenly truthful on this when he has literally lied about every statistic ever that he has used for these political grandstanding purposes? So I don't know why anybody would CNN even debunk some of these statistics. It's insane. And the fact that there's anybody out there going, well, this is just it's not a racial, but it is though. First off, there's a lot of audio out there of this guy. That's number one. And number two, he has a history of this garbage. And number three, we can disagree on things, and we probably do. I don't think that stop and frisk is constitutional. Why is it that we are putting cops in harm's way and making them enforce these horrible laws that are written by these completely out of touch, whether it's New York City Council? Case in point, Eric Garner was killed because of the laws that these politicians who aren't out there on the streets like police, they write these laws and they expect the police to do the enforcement. They were the ones who, before this happened, and I wrote about this, feel free, danalash.com, They were the ones who determined that it needed to be more strongly enforced, the ban on loose sale of loose cigarettes, the Lucy Law. They were actually called out to that particular area because of a fight that was taking place, and Eric Garner was there, and they engaged, and that's what ended up happening. This is another example of it, stop and frisk. Maybe if y'all didn't have like such a rot in the judicial system and you didn't have these judges hand slapping these repeat offenders who are driving the city's crime, maybe if the people in the judicial system did their damn job, police would not have to bear the brunt of this work and take all of this on themselves because you have politicians who are writing these gutless laws. It did not do absolutely male copulatory organ on crime, by the way. It did not. I'm totally happy to go toe-to-toe and argue those numbers too because I got them.